Hi everyone, Rob here with today's Western Pacific weather update. It is approximately 03 Universal Time, or about 1100 Philippine Standard Time out here in the Western Pacific on the 1st of June, and we are still watching our tropical depression Ambo out here, and it has been upgraded by PAGASA to a tropical depression. Also, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center has upgraded it to a tropical depression as well, so it is Tropical Depression 4. Still, no international name has been put on this system just quite yet, but that will be done when the official forecasting agency, the Japan Meteorological Agency, upgrades it to a tropical storm, and that is expected actually to happen in the next 24 hours as it does continue to push off towards the north. Look at all this very good banding, plenty of moisture flow coming in from the south, even from the north here, wrapping around that center of circulation. Last several frames you can actually see a very clear center of circulation with all those higher cloud tops within it. So with that is going to be bringing is some gusty winds and even high surf towards the east coast of Luzon, extending down towards Visayas, but also heavy rainfall. Yesterday there was over 100 millimeters of rainfall in many locations along the west coast here, and that's due to that moisture inflow. You can really kind of get a clear image of here on the COAMS model as that moisture pulls in from the west and the system continues to develop up and push off towards the north here. So all those feeder bands will also be bringing yet more flooding likely into the next 48 hours. And yesterday in Manila, you actually saw widespread flooding. PAGASA was actually saying that was the start of the rainy season, but it's fairly apparent here that that was start of the rainy season with that southwest monsoon blowing through the Philippines, but also it was really assisted here by this tropical depression forming up. So with that said, where is it going to be going next? Well, likely it's going to be taking off here towards the north, following this overall background flow along the southern periphery of a high pressure over the South China Sea, and on the western periphery of a high pressure out here towards the east, actually over the Marianas, and then it will continue to push north before starting to recurve towards the northeast, just clipping Okinawa. I know we got a lot of viewers in Okinawa that are kind of getting worried about this storm. Well, it does look like it potentially could clip your area here. Good news, I am fairly confident that it should remain towards the right, so you likely would be on the left side of the storm. It does develop up here and pushes near the southern Japanese islands, but still some gusty winds and rains could come out of it. That's if it does make that close call. It also could just veer a little bit farther here towards the east, and that's actually what the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is showing on their long-range forecast. And they do actually have it developing up to a typhoon as it pushes off towards the north here and eventually off towards the northeast, actually passing by Okinawa by about 200 nautical miles. Off here just southeast of the main island there of the southern Japanese islands. So with that said, this would definitely be kicking up the surf there. Anybody who wants to go out and go surfing, that would probably be a very bad idea, as rip currents would obviously be a major problem. But good news, it should remain off the coast. But you also have to remember, look at the cone of air. Okinawa and much of the southern Japanese Isles are still within it. And on that note, actually, the very east coast of northeastern Luzon, including Apari up here, which often gets slammed by typhoons the last several years, they're still in that cone as well. And just to compare up here, though, this is PAGASA's forecast track, and they also keep the storm off the coast here as it pushes off towards the north and eventually due north. They're actually gearing it a little bit more towards the southern Japanese islands than with the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is. So just always remember, beyond 48 hours out, always a difference between these agencies, or typically there is a difference between these agencies, so you have to always just continue to stay on guard. And lastly, here's a look at the Japan Meteorological Agency's forecast on it. They do so going off due north, but since it is still a tropical depression, they're still putting only a 24-hour forecast down on it. So once they upgrade it to a tropical storm, that's when they'll start putting their 5-day outlook on for this tropical system. But here is the GFS model outlook, and I want to show you this because let's look at the long range. Well, first the short range here. You still have all that moisture pulling across the Philippines as we saw earlier, so once again the risk of flooding and landslides is going to be there. So as always, if you have any reports out here across the Philippines of any damage, flooding, anything weather related, please relay it to us here so we can put it into our updates. It would be very useful. But let's look at the long range, because this model in particular is also expecting this to intensify rather quickly and makes it very deep, just passing Okinawa here at about 992 HPA, so a very strong storm, and then pushing off towards the northeast And just clipping actually the Kanto plain. At least the gradient doesn't look too intense over Tokyo at this time. And also it should be going extra tropical, so that would be a very good news because the max winds would likely be off on the right front quadrant. The left side would not be so intense as that storm continues to push off there towards the northeast. Likely would be the case though as it gets wrapped up with the jet stream and also runs over cooler sea surface temperatures. And here's actually just another quick look because you have that storm system developing here and it should wrap around, and once it hits this big band of cloud cover here, that's basically the rainy season stationary front, which we have been talking about for several weeks, just bringing heavy rainfall out across much of central and southern China. Well, it hits that, it's going to follow the path of least resistance, kind of like water flowing down a hill, and likely recurve and rush off here towards the northeast following all that troughing. But that is all for right now, though, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, as always, please post them in the comment box below. And also, please visit the website and search around there. We have the live interactive update going on right now, so please put your reports of any of the severe weather there. And also, you can discuss this at the forum. Have a great day. Bye.